Fascinating to know, isn't it, exactly what goes on in the corridors of power, the sort of thing. I'm not just talking about Larry, the Downing Street cat, but the Scottish secretary has now come out and attacked Larry. Oh yes, Ian Murray, the current Scottish secretary for the Labour Party, has said he's not I'll clean it up, but apparently, according to him, Larry's not a friendly cat. Well, I can tell you, as you know, me and Larry are like that, and he's not particularly friendly, but he's not nasty, his job is to be chief mouser and running the country. He got his paw on the pulse, as it were. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Well, someone who clearly has got something going wrong inside the cabinet is none other than the current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Keir Starmer. And it's interesting, this, let me tell you, because as we all know, if you follow British politics over here, people over 60 have now been whipped away from their winter fuel allowance, £300, £200, depending on where you lived. All of that's now gone because, according to them, we're running short of money, and the only way to survive in this country is to take it off those hard-working people that have paid their taxes in. Plenty of money, of course, to send abroad to all these other aids, etc. But the bottom line is people are furious over here. So much so, I can tell you, and I find this particularly very strange indeed, because obviously they had a vote in the House of Commons the other day, and the vote basically was, should they keep it, shouldn't they? And what's happened on social media, and I don't know if this happens in your part of the world, but all the MPs that are members of Parliament who voted against keeping the winter fuel allowance have been thrown up as pictures basically saying she voted against it, he voted against it, that sort of stuff. But they've now got to go back into their constituencies, and guess what? They're terrified. And as you know, they hold their surgeries up and down in the libraries and communal rooms and that sort of stuff. And even so much so, I can tell you that over at number 10 Downing Street, the team around the current British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, are reflecting and reviewing his own personal security. Fascinating to think that, isn't it? Because they're concerned that when he's out and about, they don't want people shouting abuse, booing him, or indeed heckling him, like what happened when he went up to Southport on those recent murders over on Merseyside, where he didn't bother to stay and just, dumped the wreath and wandered off. Unlike, of course, His Majesty the King. Now, the other people, the members of Parliament, are concerned that they will need security too. Now, wouldn't it have been just simpler if they'd have just carried on with the winter fuel allowance? They'd have been kept warm and safe, and more importantly, so would the MPs, and perhaps we wouldn't need to pay even more money now for a current British Prime Minister. I'd love to know what you think to this, and it goes back to the start of the video. Larry gets mocked by Ian Murray, the Scottish secretary. Larry's done nothing but provide a lot of companionship, and as I told you the other day, the Right Honourable Rishi Sunak apparently really misses Larry. No word on whether Larry misses Rishi Sunak right now, but the bottom line is they always have to bring some level of nastiness into it, don't they? Either way, politics and all of that are going to be very much the hot topic this coming winter. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.